Hey guys, today I have an update video for you of my 1992 Toyota Celica GT. I'm filming this with my iPhone 6 because I left my camera on Long Island and I won't be back down there for another week. I'm filming this update because there's a lot going on with the car. It is December 6th or 7th, I'm not quite sure. As you can see, there's some steam rolling off the exhaust that I just washed. I just cleaned off the tip. I took the car to the car wash just now and don't have any tire polish or anything. I just washed it off, brushed it down and gave it some soap, and looks pretty good. There's a lot going on with the car, like a lot. I've sunk a lot of money into the car within the last week or two. The car is right at 110,000 miles, just underneath, so a lot of service items were due. So I'll go ahead and explain what's going on. First things first, I don't know if you can tell by looking at the back muffler, but I'll get down here and show you a little more. I did undercoat the entire vehicle because when you're up here in the north, which I've been really lucky, there's no salt. As you can see, I found a nice scenic spot. There's no salt, but generally, now this time of year, there'd be tons of snow on the ground. So what I did was I undercoated it, and the reason why there's some water down there is because I just washed the car. But as you can see, it looks very good, and there's some steam rolling off that exhaust from all the water I just poured on it. Car still looks really good, cosmetically and everything, and mechanically right now it is doing very well. I'll explain what's going on with that. Basically, the car was due for an oil change on my drive back up from Long Island, and I knew that the flex pipe on the exhaust of the car wasn't that great. When I bought the car, I knew the flex pipe, the braiding was coming undone, but it didn't have any. It may have had a small exhaust leak like the entire time I owned it, and I just never really knew. But I guess that final drive coming back from Long Island to up here, it's a 7-hour drive. I guess going 80 on the highway finally blew it loose. I stopped at a gas station about 10 minutes before arriving at my home up here, and it sounded fine. Everything was fine. I was really tired. It was very late at night, so I didn't really pay much attention to the car. But when I pulled into the parking lot, when I was backing in next to my friend's STI, I noticed when I opened the door to check the lines that I heard like a coming from the exhaust. I was like, great, I have an exhaust leak. So on last Tuesday, I took it to Monroe Muffler here in Oneida, New York, and it has a brand new. Actually, I'll show you on the other side. It has a brand new flex pipe. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Flex pipe, exhaust hanger, and all the way up to the resonator. That's all new, all the way into the downpipe with 2 new clamps, and it's very nicely welded on there. They did a great job, and it was only 80 bucks. So the car is really quiet now, and it's a lot quieter on the highway, I noticed. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was I knew the oil pan gasket needed to be done, and it was just straight up leaking. And I knew it has been, it hasn't been leaking bad. It wasn't leaking, it wasn't losing like a quart between oil changes. So that was good. It was making a mess, and I wanted to get it done. And while I was under there, I did a lot of work. So I did an oil pan gasket on it about 3 days ago. That was over 100 miles ago. It was a big job. I had to drop the exhaust downpipe. I had to drop a subframe connector and a lower motor mount to get to it. Put a new gasket in, put some nice Toyota RTV in there, sealed it up, put a Can oil filter on it, changed the oil, put it all back together. And the only casualty of that big job, which took me all afternoon, was loosening the bolts on the downpipe for the exhaust from the catalytic converter, which is in the front. The car does have a cat. I broke one of the studs by accident because I'm a dumbass, but there's 3 bolts, and we tried it with a torch. We could not get the stud out, so there was a lot of studs sticking out. So the pipe is bolted back up. We put a new exhaust gasket on, some sealant, and then 2 larger bolts on the other 2 studs to hold it in, and it clamped up fine. So all that's fine, good to go, sealing perfectly. So I'm really happy that worked out. It could have been really bad. It would have cost me a lot of money if we couldn't get that fixed, but we got that good to go. And while I was under there, these 2200 5SFE Toyota engines, they, with age, the oil pump seals and stuff get old and they start to shrivel a little bit. They don't crack. If they crack, you're screwed. Like, you have to replace the gasket. But what happens is you can start to see a little bit of oil coming out from under the timing cover. And I did notice while I was under there, I don't know if it's from the oil pan or not, that it was damp. So what I did was, when I changed the oil pan and I did all that, I put like a really high grade oil in there, like a really nice, I put some Pennzoil 10W30 in there, that's what it runs on, a Can oil filter, and then I put Blue Devil seal rejuvenator, which what that does is it cleans the injectors and it just goes through all the engine seals and makes sure they're moisturized and properly sealing. Since then, everything has been bone dry. The car's not leaking anything anymore. It's 22 years old, no leaks. Surprised the hell out of me, and I'm really happy with that. Knock on wood that it keeps going, but the car really hasn't given me any trouble. It's never left me stranded. And then the last update on this thing was, after all this was done, yesterday I went to the mall in Syracuse, New York, which is about an hour and a half away, give or take, to do some Christmas shopping with some friends and hang out and, you know, go to Lights on the Lake and do some Christmas stuff. And when I got back, I noticed that there was a nail in this front right tire. I actually just got back from having that fixed. They pulled it out, put a plug patch in. It's good to go, and they also rebalanced the wheels and put new wheel weights on. So the car is riding really, really nice. Overall, I know it sounds like I probably bought a hoopty now, but in total with the car, I'm only about $400 into it, and that's in. I've pretty much driven the car 10,000 miles. Also back here, these two plate bulbs, I know that they were not working. I mentioned in the last video, I took this whole thing apart just to see what's going on, and the connector was loose, just like I guessed, and I replugged everything in, and now these work fine. I'm gonna put LEDs in eventually. I just don't want to put them in now because they're gonna flicker. So, because when it's cold out, they flicker on older cars. So I just put regular halogen bulbs in there. They look good, and they light up the whole bumper at night. So that's taken care of. Car was recently inspected about 3 weeks ago. It passed in flying colors, as you can see right there. What else? I had to avoid a deer on the road. I was coming into the parking lot where I live, and there was like a deer. So I was going like 20-ish miles an hour, maybe 30. And I swerved a little bit, and the rim, it just brushed the curb barely. I was able to get this out with some sandpaper and nail polish is how I fixed this. But this tire was also rebalanced after that because I lost a wheel weight. Everything's fine, no collision damage, no bent rim or anything. Got that balance, so the car is riding really, really smooth in terms of ride. And then in terms of engine power and everything, I'm sure all that's up now. I mean, I'll go ahead and show you underneath. So you can see everything under there. Well, obviously it's wet because I just washed the car and sprayed under here to get the salt off, but all that is dry and new looking, and I'm just really happy. It's really like a good feeling to have a car that you know is like, that you've just done all this work on, that you know it's like, it was just really satisfying. So we'll go ahead and check out the interior. Yeah, doing these license plates was kind of a pain. You have to take this entire bumper trim off to get to them, but now that works, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Last update with this car, when I took it to Long Island a week and a half ago, I noticed, I took the car to the car wash, and then it was fine, everything was fine. We got a giant nor'easter, and I was driving around all day for work, and when I got home, I was looking for my bank card because I couldn't find it. And when I lifted up the driver's side floor mat, I noticed there was water on the floor. I was like, oh shit. So, what I thought it was the sunroof. So what I did was I fixed the sunroof drain. Everything drains out fine. All these seals were fine. I was like, I'm really stumped. I don't know how this water's getting in. It's not a lot of water at all. It's just a little bit. It's just enough to annoy me, basically. Couldn't figure it out. On the forums, they said that this, when it's cold out, can contract, which is very possible because I can see these divots, and let water run down and slowly get in here. That's really what I think is going on. Or the sealer on the windshield here, as you can see, has gotten like old. This is the original windshield, by the way. And when it's cold out, this contracts and lets a tiny bit of water in, which then comes down here and in. So that's what I think it is. It only happens when it rains really hard, and I can literally fix it with a face cloth here or a towel. So what I'm gonna do when I get home is I'm gonna actually pull all this apart. I'm gonna take the driver's seat out, pull back the carpet, and run a hose just so I can figure out where it's coming in. If I can even get any water to come in. It doesn't happen all the time. No big deal. I'll just reseal this. If not, I'll reseal this. You know, it sounds like, you know, all this is like a lot of work, but it's a 20-year-old car. A lot of the work on it has been really easy, and I've driven the car a lot, so I have no problems. As you can see, the car is in winter mode, so I just kind of threw these crappy floor mats over the good ones. I want to get some all weathers. The ones I want were like 40 bucks up here, but they're $11 at home, so I'm gonna get those when I go home on Friday. So yeah, it kind of looks like crap, but whatever. I'm gonna try and steam out the interior soon too when we get a nice day above freezing. So I'll just go ahead and jump in and start her up, and I'll show you everything that's going on with it. As you can see, the car is sitting at 109,581 miles. I have driven 517 miles in a week. Today is Sunday. I drove this up here last Sunday, and it's going back down on Friday. So, like I said, the car gets a lot of use. So all of this work, it was due, and I knew it was coming, and 110K is pretty much the service interval. I do need to replace this sticker because it's obviously out old now. I'll get a new one on Monday. As you can see, the car runs great. I have a lot of crap in door panels. I have to clean out some tapes, napkins, stuff like that. Automatic driver's side window is good. Door switches are good. GPS is happy. Everything in here is good. This gearbox is a really slick gearbox. The more I drive it, the more it's just like really rewarding to just roll through the gears with. No complaints about that thing at all. Classic. I love the clock in this car too, because when you're driving at night with the lights on, this lights up red and this is green and all this is green, and it looks really nice. It's very like old 90s Toyota. You get a lighted glove box down in here. I have all my receipts from pretty much this week, the stuff that I've done with the car. I saved myself a good $500 doing that oil pan gasket myself, and it really wasn't that bad. As you can see, $15 for the tire plug, and then the $80 for the exhaust. Or actually no, it was $79, so not bad. And they did a really good job. I couldn't have paid them any more to do that. That was great. Because that would have just sucked if I had to do it. I'm not the best welder. Over there, got some safety glasses chilling out. Under here, got these floor mats from Richmond still. They look good. I'm trying to keep them protected until I can get some nice, decent all-weather floor mats. Like I said, the whole water thing is only on the driver's side, and the carpet is perfectly dry, as you can see. There's no, you know, it's literally like a tiny bit, and it has to rain for hours on end for it to even come in. So I don't know where it's coming from, but probably here, or I got a feeling it's in here, because these seals are also old. So I'll figure that out. It's not a big deal, and I also have a feeling that when the weather gets warmer, it's gonna stop. Because it recently just started about 2 weeks ago, and it's only when it like downpours. I mean, I sprayed it with a pressure washer at the car wash and nothing came in, so not concerned about that whatsoever. As you can see, the back seat's in good shape. I forgot my quarters to do the vacuum cleaner, and they don't take cards, so I'm gonna have to go back and vacuum that, but all of it's looking really good. And as you can hear, you can barely hear the car run, which for being 20 years old kind of surprised me. But it is purring like a kitten. I mean, I checked the oil level last night just to verify everything was good, because I drove about 200 miles and it was spot on full, and the oil was still crystal clear, like you couldn't even see it on the dipstick. So the car is very, very happy. The motor is a bit of a mess, but like, I mean, like, it looks like a mess, but you can see everything's running perfectly. Just sitting here purring away. And I didn't even know this, but that's the catalytic converter right there, which is pretty cool. So if I ever have to change that, it's probably not going to be that hard. I mean, it's in the front, so as you can see, that stuff on the radiator is just some sealant. That's the original radiator, and there was like a hairline crack starting, so I was like, oh, hell no. And it was like that since I bought the car, so I just threw some sealant on it this week to shut it up. Doesn't leak any fluids whatsoever. I can't stress that enough. I'm very happy with this car. And coming to the passenger side, everything's fine over here. And as you can see, the seal on this side doesn't have that big divot the other side has. This is just some wax from the car wash. Yeah. But the seal doesn't have that big thing like the other one does. So it leads me to believe that I'm pretty sure this is the culprit here, or on this corner of the windshield. Either way, a little bit of silicone like that I can do really neatly. No one will be able to see it. Not a big deal. So you can see this side. Under here, I love the Toyota logo that those 5th gen floor mats have too. I just have a red box and some crap I have to return. So you can see back here. Oh, in other news, I also got a speeding ticket with this car. That was a good time. This car is the first car I've traveled out of state by myself with. It's the first car I've gotten a speeding ticket with. It's the first car I ever went to a Black Friday with. It's the first car I've ever actually done involved repair work with. It's the first car I've ever... what else did I do with this car? This thing's the first car for everything, really. So it's just... it has been fantastic. So you can see back here, jack stands, and I'm going to bring all this crap upstairs because it's all frozen. It's like 20 degrees out. And you get my Camry floor mats, because I really don't give a shit about the trunk. And under there I get spare tire and jack and all that good stuff. My friend put that douchebag Neff sticker on last night. but overall, running really good. You can see these padded door panels are all holding up good. Go ahead and shut her down. Call it. Yeah, so that's what's going on with the Celica, guys. Just recently tuned up, doing great. Definitely really liking the car, especially after the first almost 10,000 miles. It's been like 9,000 and change. I bought the car with 101 on it. 101,100 miles, basically around that area. And in the first night I drove it 200 miles. Plans with the car, there aren't any. I'm just going to keep it going, and it's going to keep me going. Never left me stranded. I forgot to close that door. What I think is going to happen is, I did a mileage projection. I'm trying my best to cut down on the miles, because I know I drive this car way more than, than any car really deserves to be driven. Even though I'm taking great care of it, there's still, it's just like, it's a lot. And it's a lot for me too, being in the car on the highway all the time. It's a lot. It's, at first it's really enjoyable because, you want to drive. And then once you have your license for a while, it's kind of like, all right, I'm getting a little tired of driving on the highway all day. So, by the end of my college career, this car is projected to have right around 200,000 miles on it. I'm pretty sure by then, when I graduate, I'm gonna keep the car for a little bit. I'm gonna work and then probably buy something brand new. But I'm keeping this car. It's probably gonna be a weekend car. I'm gonna turn it into like the Sunday driver or whatever the hell run around car, because it's just so nice. I never see these cars like this anywhere, and not any in this condition, or in this trim level, or with these rims. Finding a refreshed 5th gen with the 5-speed manual and a larger engine in this color with these rims is almost impossible to do with this condition. So with that, I know I can't sell the car. Even if I wanted to, I would not, because whoever gets it will not take care of it anywhere as well as I know I have. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. It's been a little rant. If you have any questions about the Celica, please leave it below. Try to make some more videos of it. But yeah, thanks for watching.